all of a sudden, if you didn't think this game was important before, it's gained new importance now. And I'm not crapping on Clemson, but due to Clemson struggling with Troy, now this seems way more must win than it did before you played Troy.
Yeah, well, I mean, 100%. I mean, we talked. I mean, this game was circled for a number of reasons. In the preseason, I think for both programs. For Clemson, it was certainly one of the shaping up to be one of the tougher matchups on the schedule, especially within conference play. And obviously, it being a long time rivalry, that certainly always plays a factor into it. And then for Georgia Tech, it was going to be a measuring stick type of game. If you knock off Clemson, has the program taken that next step forward and become a true ACC title contender and by proxy a playoff contender. But obviously through 2 weeks, we've seen very, very interesting results, especially on the Clemson side of things. And that has, kind of changed the tenor of this matchup quite a bit. But our listeners have, heard us talk ad nauseum about what we've seen from Clemson, all the criticisms and the frustrations, the disappointments. But I'm sure they haven't spent a whole lot of time watching Georgia Tech and really evaluating them. But Georgia Tech 2-0 through 2 weeks. How do you feel about this team? Because from my vantage point, I don't think we know a ton. Because I think, the first week against Colorado, I don't think they played particularly well, and they still won.
Played awful.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, especially with those early turnovers, that was one of the most baffling, kind of displays I've seen. But I think it's a testament to that team just to win that football game. And then obviously you had Gardner-Webb the next week. That you expected to win by 1 million points. You did. So, we have 2 data points that we don't really know what to take from. And then on the Clemson side of things, where, we saw what we've seen a lot of Clemson through 2 weeks. So, yeah, how would you grade Georgia Tech and what is kind of the feel for this team right now?
Man, well, first I'll say I don't know what the hell to think about this game. This is probably the game I feel like I know the least about who's going to win or how this game's going to go. Like, obviously, both these teams have problems. Georgia Tech -5 turnover margin through 2 games. 5 turnovers to start both of their first 2 games. One of which, thank God we're playing Deion Sanders in Colorado, or we would have got our asses beat. These guys are bragging about a third-string quarterback. Now, this is how bad down they are after playing Tech. They're bragging about a third-string quarterback almost throwing for 200 yards against Delaware. So thank God we opened up with them. And then the Gardner-Webb thing, Philo gets hit by 40 different guys and fumbles the ball. Then he throws off his back foot and across his body. Both of those are no-nos if you've ever played quarterback, and throws a pick. So, man, I don't know what to think about Georgia Tech. Obviously, their ground game seems to be pretty strong, and I already see it in the comments. This is the biggest talking point in Atlanta and a talking point nationally. What is the health of Haynes King? And it's weird, out of the Tech front, a lot of Tech fans are pissed if you say that King is anything but 100% healthy. My position has been he's never going to be 100% healthy. It's just that's where he is now. Like, if you have 100% of your total career health, he's going to be at 85% at his best, right? Because injuries, people are not the same after they sustain injuries. Like, it takes a little bit out of your career. I don't know how healthy he is. I mean, it seems reasonable that you would sit him for Gardner-Webb. Why would you let him take punishment if you can win that game without him? You have one of the best backups in the country in Aaron Philo. They're calling it a lower body injury, which I don't know if you saw in the Clemson game. He got his wiener pulled, like someone tackled him by his wiener. So my conspiracy theory is that he has a wiener injury. So I don't know. I mean, you're not last year before we played Georgia, this was the best kept secret that he came out and played. So I'm probably on the fringe of thinking we're going to see both quarterbacks in this game.
Yeah.
I don't think they're going to get equal time. I'm not committing to anything on that. I mean, part of it might be out of necessity. If you run Haynes King 25 times versus Clemson or 30 times versus Clemson, he's not going to finish the game. Clemson's going to be talented enough up front because, like, Clemson is not all of a sudden untalented. All the talent they had before the season they have now. In fact, correct me if I'm wrong. Your stud wide receiver is back for this game, or that's the reports.
Oh, Antonio Williams, he's still considered, day to day. Honestly, I really don't know how to feel about it, because when Dabo has his Daboisms, and day to day is one of those things where it could mean he's coming back this week, or it means he's coming back in 4 weeks. We really don't know. And it's a hamstring thing with Antonio Williams, and those injuries can linger. He suffered it in early against LSU, and I'm of the opinion he probably won't play. Now,
okay,
that could change, and we could wake up Saturday and it's like Antonio Williams is good to go. He's rehabbed it very well, and they feel good about where he's at, but. Based on my experience in the past, and with Antonio in particular, because this isn't the first time he's dealt with lingering injuries, would not surprise me if we didn't see him. Now, I don't think Clemson needs him in order to win the football game, but it'd be very nice. And he's Clemson's best receiver, and he's Cade's favorite target. And Cade plays a lot different when Antonio Williams is on the field, as that has been shown. So, I think it would be extremely important to have him back. But I don't know. We'll see. I think those are two things we're keeping an eye on, with Antonio Williams and Haynes King. But Clemson is preparing for both quarterbacks anyway. So I'm interested to see, where situationally they implement both of them, because obviously Philo is definitely the more pocket passer of the two, and probably not as built to sustain a bunch of. Really, Haynes King isn't built to sustain a bunch of hits, but they
quarterback
like to run Aaron Philo like they do Haynes King.
No, and he has the capability of running. Yeah. I mean, the thing with Clemson is, I would imagine, and this is what everyone's doing against Tech. You're going to crash the line of scrimmage. You're going to play press man coverage for the majority of this game, and you're going to say, if Haynes King's in the game, I'll be damned if he's going to run for 150 on us. Oh, yeah. He's going to have to throw if he's going to beat us. And that's all wrong for Tech. I mean, if I were to guess at the number of throws that Haynes King throws beyond 20 yards, I bet it's not many this season. That's kind of why I think we'll see both quarterbacks. But they're still going to pop off some runs. Tech's pretty creative in how they get the running game going. I mean, a pop pass counts as a pass, but it's a run play, right? I mean, I would consider that to be run. Now, they do have Eric Rivers that they like to pop it to, All-American that came in and a speed demon. Defensively for Georgia Tech, I think they've played about as well as any Tech fan can expect. I mean, they turned the ball over 3 times against Colorado. They give up 7 points. What they held, not that it means anything. I guess they hold Garner Webb to 12. They're pretty talented in the secondary, and they're starting 4 defensive linemen have surprised me. Kilo Stone, there's a freshman, Andre Fuller. They have Vandenberg. That starting rotation is pretty good. But once you have, you're going to have to rotate guys in. That's where I'm a little questioning things, and that's where I think Clemson should commit to some more West Coast style offense and just throwing the ball and getting the ball out of Cade's hands quickly. I think we'll have trouble doing that. I don't think we'll be able to get a ton of pressure on Cade if you scheme things right for this game.
Well,
yeah, we have not seen that out of Clemson yet this year. And the offensive line has struggled quite a bit, much more than we probably anticipated coming into the season. So we'll see. I think on the injury front, we'll kind of know more. I think they have to release injury reports now, right? On Thursday, Friday.
I'm not sure. I think the SEC.
I know that's a rule for the SEC, but I don't know if the ACC ever implemented that rule.
I don't think that's a rule for the ACC. That's also only a rule for gambling.
I heard the reason I mentioned it, I watched Dabo's interview today, and he was asked about it, and they are going to release an injury report on Thursday.
Okay.
So I don't know if Georgia Tech will, but I know Dabo said Clemson's going to release an injury report on Thursday and Friday.
I don't think you can trust it anyway.
No,
I don't think so. I wouldn't trust it at all.
Antonio Williams is listed as a starter on Clemson's depth chart right now. So
it's just another tool for them to kind of have the gamesmanship, right, and kind of mess with the narratives and the storylines out there. I don't think there's going to be anything to pay attention. I don't think we'll know any more about whether Antonio Williams is going to play or how much Haynes King is going to play or not play. Even if both teams release their injury reports, I don't think it's going to tell us anything.
Well, I think maybe we're overlooking something because Williams is hurt.
Yeah.
Jordan, I talked with Sea-Dog. How tall are you?
I'm about 6'5".
Okay, so stupid tall.
Yeah.
What do we not see the natural thing that needs to happen?
Yeah. I mean, I see it.
Put the pads on this guy.
I mean, listen, as a former JV all-conference freshman cornerback, hey, I can make the change to receiver. I mean, I'll do what I have to do. But
yeah,
no, I mean, I don't think I could start in the slot. Not for Antonio. I mean, Antonio's he's 6 foot if you're on a good day. But he's every part of this offense. I just and that's what concerns me because it seems like Cade he just seems like a different quarterback when he's not on the field. But you mentioned something about Georgia Tech's run game, and obviously that's coming into the season. That's the thing that terrifies me the most, especially given what Clemson has struggled with defending the run last season, especially. I think through 2 games, I've seen improvement from Clemson's run defense. I think LSU, outside of their first run, they ran for 25 yards, and then they were held below 3 yards a carry the rest of the night. I was pretty pleased with that, but then again, they were breaking in a new offensive line, and they haven't looked that special since that game. So you have to wonder. And then against Troy, there were times where I think they got gashed a little bit too much. The numbers say they only gave up 79 yards, but sack adjusted, they gave up 4.1 yards per carry. Against Troy, you got to be better than that. They have a really good – that Meadows kid is really good, but you got to do better. So, with Georgia Tech and how creative they are running the ball, they remind me – their run game especially reminds me a lot of what Clemson saw against Texas last year. A lot of mid-zone, wide zone. They do a lot to get Jamal Haynes, especially just kind of get going downhill. He has
a lot of zone read.
Yeah, and zone, especially zone read, and they play a lot of out of that, and get Haynes King involved, and having to account for him makes it even more difficult. So that terrifies me about this game because I think this is the first real test. For Clemson's run game. This is the best combination of offensive line, running threat at quarterback, stable of backs that can all get it done. I think this is going to be the first true test for Tom Allen's defense in terms of how much this run defense has truly improved, or was it smoke and mirrors through 2 weeks?
Yeah, and what we'll do is try and take. I imagine you have pretty good defensive ends, right? Or PFF wise. So what Buster's going to do is say, we're going to take your best player out. So this is actually playing NCAA 26. That's nasty, where you fake the toss sweep, and then it's an option play off the end. You can either toss it to Jamal, or King can cut it up and run it. So your tackle is going to let the end go, and then he's going to pick up the outside linebacker, and then it's just up to whoever's in the slot to pick up probably the nickel over him. Coach Rec for president, baby. Let's go. And look, that can be tough to defend. The RPO is the modern triple option. So just throwing a slant off an RPO, or letting a tight end hit the flat off an RPO. I'm sure we'll do a lot of that, especially with Haynes King. I think he can throw downfield. Like, physically, is he able to throw downfield? Yeah. Are you confident in him throwing downfield? No. The other problem with Tech has been we've had some issues with the snap. And that kills the confidence of your quarterback too, or maybe not confidence, but how rattled he is. It certainly affects that. If he feels like he's having to jump over your head at 6'5" to get a snap, that's not good. So that will be something else to pay attention to. We've played 2 centers, which I hate. You don't want to be not confident at who's playing center. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting game. Again, I don't know what to think about this game because you're going to want to probably come out and be able to establish the run and take a little bit off of Cade's shoulders, forcing throws and whatnot. Last year, we were really good at run defense. This year, it's been a toss-up. Like, Colorado was the worst rush offense in the history of football last year because they chose to be the worst rush offense in the history of football last year. They ran pretty well against Tech, so I don't know.
Yeah, I definitely look for Clemson to come out and try to establish the run early in this game. It's something that wasn't well committed to. Obviously, if you watch that LSU game, it was abysmal. We just didn't even try to run the football.
32 yards.
I still don't know if we could have ran the football against LSU. We very well might not have been able to, but we didn't even try. We did not try the running game whatsoever. Had an abysmal 31 yards rushing in that game. For a whopping 1.6 yards per carry. So that was great. And then, the first half against Troy went about as bad as it possibly could. Like, it was literally a comedy of errors. Me and Jordan were doing the game stream, and I was just laughing. Like, it was just like, what is happening right now? Like the whole pick six thing, the tip ball caught by the D lineman, he falls in the end zone. I'm just like, wow. Okay, so it's that kind of day. All right.
Yeah,
this is great. Now we're down 16-0 against Troy in the first half. But they came out in the second half. The third quarter was pretty good for Clemson as far as offensively. They committed to the run. You saw Adam Randall. I think one of the things that stood out to me for Clemson's running game against Troy, the small second half sample size that we got, was Adam Randall can be a really physical guy in between the tackles. Obviously, we knew he had the size. And the ability. But it was nice to see him, albeit against Troy, just kind of like not go down with first contact, really tough runs. He broke one up the sideline that was really nice that he displayed that kind of speed that he has as well to go along with the power. So my hope is that Garrett Riley will get his head out of his butt and come into this game and establish the run and help his quarterback out a little bit. Because let's just be honest, Cade had a lot of high praise coming into this season. He has not looked anything close to the Cade Klubnik of 2024. He looks like 2023 Cade Klubnik. And if anybody remembers that version of Cade Klubnik, it was not good. It was not good at all. So definitely would like to see Clemson come in and establish the run.